Hello, this is Central Booking, and this is the TheKCentralshow. I am your host, Central Booking.
I'm K. Cram.
Special guest, Mr. 42nd in the house, in the Heezy.
What's up, Mr. 42nd, man?
Oh, man.
Supporting that Rick Ross, man.
You and that Rick Ross, man.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, fellas, I was sitting here thinking about this whole political environment right now, as far as like we was talking about with the Chicago shooting.
Right.
I was listening to Steve Harvey, man. They were saying that there's a lot of people that need to be fired because of the cover up, because of how they.
Well, they just made the superintendent of the police in Chicago. They
Rahm
just,
Emanuel
just
canned
made
him.
him step down.
Did they?
Yeah, Rahm
Yeah.
Emanuel canned him.
Yeah.
Finally.
But also, which is good, he said he's going to make a board in order to start looking over these kinds of things, of shootings and things of that sort, that I think is really needed in a whole lot of communities.
To keep the police
Accountable.
To hold them accountable for what they do. Yes.
One thing we don't need is police joining us in our own goddamn genocide.
how you gonna say that, man?
I mean, the police basically
How
is supposed to. How dare I? Because the police is supposed to be what you call better trained, whether they're black, white, or whatever. They're supposed to be better trained.
They're supposed to be held to a certain
standard,
right?
exactly. And yeah, we may be shooting each other like we don't give a shit. But
Man.
that doesn't mean that everybody else has a right to do it the same way.
I ain't gonna
Unfortunately,
stunt.
that may sound wrong, but it's true.
I ain't gonna stunt. If I'm like in the middle of like in a back road somewhere, and the police get behind me, yeah, I do be a little kind of nervous, man. Like
Who wouldn't be?
Like damn, I hope this ain't a cop that had a fucked up day.
Exactly.
I hope this ain't one of those cops that got something to prove. Or I hope this ain't one of those
cops are talking about, I was afraid for my life.
So I had to shoot him 16 times.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, because he was a big.
Even though he was on the ground.
Or I had to shoot a 12-year-old. You
They
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I watched too many rap videos.
But I think the fear really is the authority. I don't think people understand the fear that we have, or black men or black people have of the cops. It ain't the cop himself. It's the authority he has.
Yeah.
He or she has.
I think that's the fear of that, because somebody can handcuff you.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much detain you. Kind of their own little way. They charge you with whatever. I think that's the fear.
They have a certain power
over you.
Prime example was at South Carolina when that cop shot that guy, shot him in the back as he was running away, and then he planted evidence on him.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that camera, we wouldn't have never known that we
would never have known that.
He'd probably still be walking the streets today.
Yeah, that's that fear. Yeah, but man, you were saying something earlier. Damn, I hate to address what you got to say, Mr. 42nd, about these niggas in the street.
I'm just saying
about
that
how we how we shoot each other. A lot of people are saying, of course, Central, you said this about Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Why does it matter if a white person takes it?
Yeah. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't be the only thing that matters. You know what I'm saying? Because we're doing it to ourselves on a regular basis. I mean, when you have 2,300 murders in Chicago alone,
but you gotta,
what does that say?
But listen, man, but you got to count the racism, the unemployment, the fact that city is segregated.
But is that okay for it to still be black folks taking each other out?
Is that an excuse for black folks to shoot each other up because of racism, unemployment? We've always had racism. We've always had unemployment, and we ain't never shot each other up the way we doing it now.
Word.
I'm not trying.
Let's take a look at the 70s.
I'm not trying to hear that racism.
You know
and
what I'm
unemployment.
saying? Okay. It was hard in the 70s. Was we doing it like
what do you
that?
think's perpetuating the crime now?
Just the selfishness, man. Just outright sociopathic selfishness, man. Deep down inside, we gotta understand. These is kids doing it, dog.
Yeah,
these is kids,
these
and
are
kids are not. And kids that have to be.
It's these kids who are being raised, single mothers who have been spoiled. They don't want shit. They don't want to work for shit. So they're out here thinking that I can still sell drugs, or I can join the gang, or we can meet up and do things and steal and all of that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'll steal who I'm gonna steal from first, because I'm not gonna go to the white man. I'm scared of him.
Sure am.
Yeah.
So who I'm gonna steal from? My brother. He got them Jordans. I'm getting him.
Exactly.
So okay. You're thinking there's not enough. We're gonna get down to this. There's not enough fathers in the homes.
Of course.
So let's just keep it real. There's
Yeah.
not enough men in the homes.
Of course not.
There's too much single mother stuff going on.
Yeah.
Too many women having these kids early.
Yeah.
And it once again keeps the cycle of the whole thing going, basically.
Yeah. And it's just gotten worse.
The perpetual senselessness of it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
It's gotten worse.
we don't even know why we're shooting each other.
you think-
Sometimes we just shooting each other.
Do you think hip hop keeps this kind of going? I mean, hip hop.
Hip-hop don't even have
hip hop
anything.
has been blamed for a lot of things.
It
man.
doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yo, 90s
Truly
hip hop
doesn't.
that y'all love so much.
Hip hop basically reflects what's going
on.
what's going through people's
and
minds.
actually, you talking that's what the 90s did. It reflected on what was going on.
What was happening? This is what was coming out. You know, this is what you was plucking out of the streets. When you said you wanted to get into the streets like a National Geographic, that's what you did. You listened to a hip hop song and you listen to these cats basically tell you how their mind frame was working.
But no, now you bring it up to the today, and you might be right. You know what I'm saying? Because now what are they all talking about? Bling, money. You know what I'm saying? Eating some bitch pussy. You know what I'm saying? And clothes and all of that. It has gotten more materialistic than ever.
Unless there's no subject.
There is no subject matter at all.
Agree. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then you got these kids who were being raised only by mothers. You know what I'm saying? Who are being spoiled as children, and now I'm a teenager. Now mom don't want to spoil me no more. She not giving me money no more, and I gotta get it however, because Drake got this and Lil Wayne got that, or what have you.
And a lot of these guys are dysfunctional.
Your mother give you money? My mom's don't give me shit, nigga. Biggie Smalls, the beginning intro album of Ready to Die. Listen to that intro album when they about to rob that train. That's exactly what my man Central here talking about.
Yeah.
Now, as a whole, y'all, I'm gonna say this: crime is down as a whole. Like,
if you watch the media, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, but crime is down.
It is.
Statistically,
It is.
Crime is down.
A lot of gentrification went on. A lot of people moved out.
We really don't have a crime thing like that.
I really like to get into that time I went to Columbus. I really like to get into that time when I noticed that Columbus, all the boarded up houses, and before those houses was boarded up, those used to be in black neighborhoods that Krim was telling me about, that those were black neighborhoods. And basically what Krim was telling me about with those black neighborhoods is that they was kind of crazy. And basically what I saw as the end result of it was a whole bunch of houses, a bunch of black people who pretty much got relocated, moved out of those neighborhoods, and those houses being boarded up cheaply so they can put cheap property.
Listen, 40 seconds. Hold on, man. You just blew my mind saying that. Now, you was a kid in the 80s.
Yeah, I was a kid.
And you was in New York City in the 80s.
Yes, I was. Brooklyn, actually.
And now
Brooklyn in the house.
You saw way worse. Y'all saw way worse. I mean, y'all were in New York City back when New York City was.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I love that time.
You know, it's funny because
I will say
Go
this.
ahead.
I will say this. I love that time, but it was at the height, I'ma say, of gentrification.
Was it?
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. To come off of my block and see abandoned buildings on 8th Avenue, and now to go down that same 8th Avenue and all those abandoned buildings have been rebuilt and
Condos.
people are living in them. Come on. That was at the height of gentrification. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about now there aren't any of those buildings. You understand? You won't see a building that's abandoned in Harlem now, today.
Really?
Harlem ain't even Harlem no more.
Right.
What, I mean, but Harlem was really like black.
It was one of the upper crust black neighborhoods, you could say, in its way.
Then it went down in the 80s
Yeah,
down.
Of course.
And because Flatbush, Brooklyn, the part of Flatbush, Brooklyn that I lived in was, it was my scenario was a there go the neighborhood scenario. It was a white neighborhood. It was a white area, and that was one. And what happened was is we all started. White folks moved out, and black folks moved in. That
Really?
Temptation song, a ball of confusion. People moving out, people moving in. And that's basically how it happened.
Okay, man, listen, hold on. We're going to cut the show. We want an R&B singer. Go ahead and explain.
But black folks moving out. No, white folks moving out, black folks moving in. And the problem was, it was okay because it was good black folks moving in. But then, of course, you had bad black folks moving in on top of that because a lot of those buildings started being bought by the government at least, or the government started paying the rent for some of the more poor black folks that were moving.
How was the crime back then?
That's what I'm getting at, and because of that, areas where that you always thought was safe are no longer safe. Parkside Avenue used to be a gym. If anybody know what Parkside Avenue is, but in Woodruff Avenue, those areas turned into hell.
But didn't y'all have a lot of police brutality also in New York back then? Didn't you hear a lot of cases?
There were actually those Rodney Kings that you used to see, that you saw.
Yeah.
They finally, by that time, they finally showed that on tape because you used to see that shit all the time. I used to see it on the subways. I used to see it in the park. I used to see it in front of the Arab
So it was
stores.
just a normal thing.
That's just the way it was. If niggas wasn't shooting each other, then the cops was beating the shit out of you. And calling you nigga and mooly and all this bullshit. You know what I mean? It was just, and it was just, and the way they talk. And the thing was, if anybody seen the movie Straight Outta Compton, if anybody seen it, there's a scene where the cop is talking to Ice Cube's parents like they ain't shit. That was real. Back in the 80s, that was real. My grandmother is a saint with wings, and I fucking shit you not. These redneck crack sucking cops would talk to them like they was nothing but a bunch of pipe smoking, dick sucking lowlifes. I shit you not. They had no respect, and that's one of the reasons why we're talking about. Because the problem was, police just looked at all of us that way. They just saw all of us that way, like we weren't shit. Just like I referred to
even
with
good,
the
even good work.
Yeah, exactly. Man. And most of us did go to work. We didn't steal. We were taught not to steal in stores. And if we did steal in stores, we got our ass beat by our parents. The parents didn't make excuses for us. But as far as the cops are concerned, we was nothing but a bunch of mooly niggas, animals, that needed to be kept in a zoo and kept the fuck away from good neighborhoods. That's a quote, by the way. And that was a quote that a cop told me and your father one day.
Really?
He told us that one day. I live in a good fucking neighborhood. I don't have to live in this fucking neighborhood. That's a quote.
Now, Central Book, and you also a New Yorker.
I didn't get.
We didn't experience.
I'm not gonna say I got to experience that. I was young. You know what I'm saying? And
so was I.
Yeah, true enough. But I was young. I lived in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't get to see the cops come around like that. I had a very big family, and I would think that we would have. You understand? But we didn't. You know what I'm saying? We weren't involved so deeply. And I'm not saying that I wasn't out there doing my thing, because I was doing things that he just said he was told not to do.
Right.
I was running in Arab stores and stealing and doing all kinds of things. We was up in Macy's hitting them up for all kind of Star Wars toys and shit like that. We was doing it, yo. I'm talking about doing it, yo. And
now,
never had the cops come at us, but if the cops came our way, we ran.
I just want you to know you just admitted to a crime on the internet. But
the statute of limitations.
That's what I was about to bring that up. I was about to bring that statute.
I know, man.
Statute of limitations.
He didn't kill nobody, so he's okay.
Yo, NYPD, you can suck dick.
One of the crookedest bastards on the face of the fucking planet.
So
NYPD.
Oh, so you saw a lot of personal corruption.
Personal shit.
On your end in Central, you said you didn't get the whole personal corruption as far as dealing
with the cops. I didn't really have that problem. Me and my brothers really didn't. A couple of my older brothers
had
run-ins, but it was never anything so serious until we didn't get real serious with the police until we moved out of New York.
Oh,
you understand? And went to Ohio. But then
that's when the run-in started.
Right. You
Do you think us as black men have a lot more run-ins mean, than average.
Yes, definitely.
Because we definitely do have a lot of running.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
I mean, just us being.
They're cops that's supposed to quote unquote train just for us. They're not trained to basically handle general population. I think that's what the argument is now.
Now, how are you treated when you like? How do you think you treated? Because you're kind of a big brother.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like you're treated when they pull you over? How do you think they treat you?
Well, I have to admit that I haven't really had any incidents in quite a long time. I haven't had any incidents with the police in quite a long time, so it wouldn't be fair for me to say, that they've been treating me bad, stuff like that. Most of the time, my incidents are minor incidents now. Most of the stuff that I'm referring, most of the stuff I'm referring to is back in the good old days, as we like to call it.
I can say because about Ohio, it became about our name. After my brothers and sisters got there and we start tearing up Ohio, because we did start tearing up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it became, anytime I got stopped by the cops and they ran my 50 and saw my last name, it was all kinds of hell. You understand me? Because now it's all about, I know you, I know your family, I know your brothers, how's such and such. Oh, that's right, I put them away, and all this kind of
personal thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Unprofessional thing.
Right.
Almost like it was almost like taunting you.
Yeah, to want me to do something to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was every time. I don't care when it was. And there were times they probably had me dead to rights to do something to me. Mm-hmm. But I always got out. And it was like, the next thing is it's your family. You know what I'm saying? And you and all of this kind of bull. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, hey, you ran the 50. Do I have anything on me? Is there anything? Is there a record there? No. All right then. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, because you don't even have a traffic ticket, man.
At all. Nothing.
Yeah. You never got caught jaywalking.
Right.
As much as you jaywalk.
Right.
Wow. Oh, you're a lucky brother, man. Mm-hmm. Well, you won. I'm sure you got a lot of traffic tickets, don't you?
Oh yeah, I got my share of them and stuff.
Because I know if I was a police and I just saw you driving.
Well, I used to get clocked at a couple of times. I used to get clocked at, especially in Jersey. I got clocked at a couple of times. What am I doing here? What's my name? I haven't seen you here before. Well, I'm from New York.
Do you think the South? I got a question. Do you think the South, as far as the racial aspect, is less intense or more intense than the East and the North?
I think because the South is on notice.
Okay. Because
of the racism that has existed here. I mean, think about it, Kay. In 64 or 65, we've had to come up with laws. That basically said that we need to be treated like humans. Right. So because of that, the South got put on notice. So I think the North never got put on notice like that. So I think it's more intense in the North than it is in the South.
It's just like I was saying to you. Remember we were talking about it, and it was like I was saying to you, like when we were escaping slavery. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And white folks really didn't want us up there, but okay, I'm gonna deal with you.
Right.
You understand? I really don't want you here, but you're here, so I'm going to deal with you, but I don't really like you. You understand? And that terminology, that way of thinking stayed in the East and the North. It stayed. Whether you want to believe it or not.
In the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Midwest.
You know what I'm saying? So that stayed. It was like, damn, you up here. What you come up here for?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But now that you're here, I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to send you back.
Right.
But I really don't want you here.
We ain't got no cotton for you to pick up here.
Right.
So now, if we do have this presence of, I guess, cops not liking black men. Of course, this ain't nothing new. This is like
it's been happening since we was on the plantations picking cotton, and they were overseers.
Do you think it's fair when people say
nobody told them to bring our asses over?
Right. But do you think it's fair when people say they get discriminated against as far as filling out applications and stuff like that? Do you think that's fair when people say that? As far as when they go try to get a job a lot of times?
I think it is fair to say. Because the fact of the matter is that now as we see in the media and other things, that racism is really still out there. You know, these college kids ain't on this campus talking bullshit when they're sitting there and they come and take a seat and they sit next to some white person and they get up and move over.
Now
you know what I'm saying?
You can't change people's minds or how they.
But you would think with the generation, that generation, that
you want to move away from
that's supposed to be dying out, right?
It's supposed to be.
But if you look at the internet, I see so many nigga comments. I know y'all.
See. Oh yeah.
You thought by now, don't we supposed to be advancing as a civilization?
You would think.
I think we need to have it.
You got some white boy telling these people on Missouri's campus that, Joe, you know, hey, y'all want to talk this shit? Don't nobody be out in the quad or I'm shooting everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's a millennial, right?
Right.
So who did he learn it from? Now, I'm sure it wasn't just the internet.
I get you.
But here's a question. If we was to bring a white boy up in here and we asked him to speak his mind, would we be able to handle it, or will we be ready to whoop his ass by the end of the by the end of his conversation?
I would respect the truth. I think,
but sometimes the truth hurt though.
I think I've heard it all. You know, I think I've heard. I don't think I would be surprised at nothing
that he felt that way.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I think
because
some of us feel that way.
I was always taught not to trust them anyway. You
would be both.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that is even if you want them as friends, you better not trust them because y'all get in trouble together. You the one in trouble.
Oh yeah, you the one going to jail.
You know what I'm saying? They not. You know, or even if they do, they got family to get them out.
But do you think they're? I mean, I'm gonna ask you a question. 40 seconds. Do you think they're warranted on the way they feel about us as black people?
I'm gonna have to say no. You know why? Because y'all have made us like this. We have taken your lead on the things that we do. Truthfully, we have. And you want to say that we're the savages and all of this shit when this is what y'all taught us from jump, when this is how y'all got this country.
I'm gonna dodge that question by saying this:
yeah.
Are there black folks that feel the way certain white folks feel about us? And, and now I'm gonna come back to that question.
Yeah.
Yes, because there are black folks who feel that white folks are warranted
for feeling the way
they do. Because the thing is that the idea is that me personally, I think that we are responsible for ourselves as individuals. I think that we're responsible for our actions. You see what I'm saying? We're responsible for who we are. We can't keep clinging on to the old ways of how things was done to us. Yeah, we've had the biggest unjust in the world, and people don't understand that. They don't understand it, but at the same time, it hasn't stopped us from being producers. It hasn't stopped us from creating filaments and light bulbs, or creating, for making traffic lights. It hasn't stopped us from being creative, for being, just basically just ahead of certain scientific advantages and stuff like that. So because we've shown and proved that we're not niggas. That's a quote from School Days, Larry Fishburne.
Word.
We've shown that we are responsible for some of our own actions. And if there is racism out there, that we can prove it more, but sometimes it gets hard to prove it, and people take sides when they see us carrying on a certain way. When they hear about Chicago, there wouldn't be no Chicago if we weren't doing it. You see what I'm saying? There wouldn't be no Detroit or no Northern Philly if we weren't doing it. You see what I'm saying? There wouldn't be no Carroll City, Miami, or no Liberty City, Miami if we weren't doing it.
What happened back in the Wild West when it was Dodge City in California?
They straightened themselves out. They started.
Yeah, and how long did that take?
It took a while, but it eventually got done.
Okay, now we're in that stage.
We're in that transition.
Well, hopefully,
you understand. We're in that stage, and it didn't come from us like that. We are doing what we saw, and were taught.
I mean, because
what are we seeing and taught now?
If you do think about it,
we have education. We have black colleges.
American education is one of the worst in the world.
And if you
one of the worst in the world.
That's true. And if you think about it, man, we only been allowed to vote the last 40 years. So my thing is, hold on, man.
The Voting Rights Act was at 65. Yeah, that is 40 years. You're right.
So we just now really, I think a lot of people don't understand. We're just now really,
yeah, you're right.
becoming what?
Not bad, Crim.
Yeah, we're
65.
just now becoming citizens.
Yeah.
Just now becoming,
Yeah.
you know,
Counted.
Yeah.
Or even being observed as we are.
Or was that
people of
50
this
years
nation.
ago? I'm sorry, something like that. Yeah,
Well,
but
65. Yeah, that's 50 years ago. I'm sorry.
We're just now becoming.
Sorry about that. We're not mathematically inclined. 50 years ago.
Yeah, we're just now becoming
America's education system at work.
Oh wow! So in 50 years, you cannot. And I don't care. Reverse what's happening. What 500 years?
Right. Right.
Well, that's a good point.
You know, there's no way.
No.
I think we're kind of advancing pretty fast.
Yeah.
I would say that our anger is still legitimate because we're the only ones that got raped in this damn country. I mean, no Irish allowed. You weren't raped. You just weren't allowed in certain stores. Jews, they know what? Nobody liked you. Boo fucking who? You know,
All had businesses.
I'm gonna
Italians.
ask y'all a controversial question. What do you think about the gays trying to equate their struggle to black and how they're trying to mix it in?
You can hide your gayness. You can't hide skin color. I'm a black man. I promise you. When I walk into somebody's store, they're gonna see me black. They're gonna guess whether I'm gay or not.
Good point. Good point.
He's definitely
You
right.
said it. You said
I think you define that
very well.
well. Yo.
You got that totally 100% on point. That's true. So they can't really.
No,
that just
they
ends that
can't.
conversation.
But they want to believe that that's the way it is for them, like it is for us, and it's just bullshit.
You didn't get whipped. You didn't get whipped. You didn't get dragged. You didn't get sold off. You were able to work in Hollywood. You were able to suck dick in a mansion.
Oh, see now.
You know?
Oh, see.
You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of
Sorry,
people.
LGBT community. This
a
is
lot of-
42nd talking, not us.
Oh, it's that Muslim in him. But you get what I'm saying. Is that your struggles was more or less a sort of an ostracized struggle. Yeah, there were things that happened. There were incidents that would happen, but it wasn't what you call a institution. It wasn't institutionalized. It wasn't part of the law. We were slaves. That was legal. We were legal slaves. I can understand if it was a legal slavery. We were legal slaves. Discrimination was legal. They could do it in our faces.
But
no niggas allowed.
But what about pulling yourself up from your bootstraps? What about that? Remember that saying that black folks need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps?
We do, but it's like my man Central was saying. Or did he say that? It's a struggle.
Yeah,
it's a process.
It's a process. That's what y'all was saying. It's a struggle.
We just can't get it overnight.
Like you just said, it takes time.
It takes time. Yeah,
it takes time. Like you said, we said 50 years out of 500. Out of 500, you know what I mean? Hey, hopefully it won't take no 500 years.
I don't think people understand that when you listen. I'm about to weigh in on this. When you hear the media and they talk about our problems and everything, they act like we never went through nothing. If you listen to the media, especially Fox News, man, they act like black people. There was no slavery.
Right.
There was no racism.
Right.
We just a bunch of sorry motherfuckers who just need to get with it.
Right. Oh, they start comparing their history to ours.
Right.
My great grandfather had to come to America because Cromwell did the potato Irish thing, and Cromwell, executed my people. Here's the key concept: you had to come to America. You didn't have to worry about being slaves. We never came to America. We were drug here. Yeah. We wouldn't even give it a chance. We might have said, "Yeah, you know what? This American thing might work."
Killed over 100 million of us, bringing us over here.
There's a difference. Your America and our America is totally different. The suffering that we had in America is a whole lot different than what you had over in Ireland or in Britain or in Italy or in Germany or in Poland, Auschwitz or whatever.
I think though, I think a lot of black people would watch the media and watch the news and identify with how white people see it. Don't you think so, Central? They will sit there and identify with how.
Not to down Auschwitz. Y'all were putting ovens in Auschwitz. I just want to say that.
That's the bullshit of you letting the media program you. You understand? And we do this. We're being
listen.
Being programmed every day.
So my thing is this: if this is happening, then in a way, a white person is almost taught to be racist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, on a regular basis.
Because they're always taught.
Yeah.
But who's more racist, the liberal white person or the conservative white person?
I think the liberal.
I think the liberal myself.
What do you think, Central?
I think it's both.
I'm gonna go more. I'm going more with the liberal. I'm sorry,
because I think the liberal.
And now the liberal is going to hide it.
No, the liberal thinks that we ain't shit and that we can't be helped.
But they help us anyway.
You know,
the conservative is the one that thinks she ain't shit too, but tells you to get up off your ass and do something about it. You understand? But it still doesn't give a fuck about you.
I don't know. Sometimes I think I kind of like that a little bit because at least I know where I stand with the conservative. With the liberal,
they fake.
They just sit there smiling in my face, calling me a monkey. You know, I mean, come on. And thinking that I'm a monkey and talking about me like I'm a monkey.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, look, I don't need your goddamn help.
Right.
I happen to like capitalism. I just want a piece of it for myself.
And if you don't interfere and stop flaring,
exactly.
Thinking I shouldn't have a nice car, because that's how I think the liberal think. You just can't do nothing.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's how I think the liberal thinks.
Yeah.
You just a Negro. You gotta help our little Negro
friends. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Which is the conservatives like, look, man, gotta get it how you live.
How much government cheese can we get? I mean, come on, man. I mean, some of us need food stamps, but it's better probably just to go out there and sell that damn potato so we can make some cheddar. You know?
Basically, with the media being the way it is,
Lyndon Johnson meant well, but damn. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no,
that was a baby boomer thing.
You can trip on that all you want, but it's more white folks on motherfucking welfare than it ever has been blacks, and that's been known for years.
But the liberal ain't thinking about the white folks that are on it.
I know.
But the media, the way the media makes it look like it's all us.
I know it.
The media stumps on us.
Yeah.
The media, I think.
But they ain't got nobody else to stun on. We're the most dramatic people in this nation. The most dramatic.
And the joke's on us.
Yeah. Because what comes on first? What comes on the news first?
Us?
Some nigga getting shot.
Okay. Yeah. Or getting shot by the police or getting arrested. You know what I'm saying? So we're the entertainment no matter what happens.
The joke's on us.
Yeah,
the joke's on us. I totally agree. The joke is definitely on us.
But like I said, if we ain't doing it, they ain't got nowhere to go. I remember telling my brother that. I said if the news won't have anything, if we don't provide it.
Okay, but what if we all stop? What if we all stop shooting each other tomorrow? We totally win. No more violence.
Then they're out of ratings.
I think they're gonna create something.
Well, then let us see. Let us see that. Let us see that first. Let us see if that's the case. Let's stop shooting each other well enough to see if they can do that. If they're gonna create something. I mean, come on, y'all, please. How about we stop doing that so we can see where the fucking enemy is coming from? Shit.
I'm saying, I think if we stopped it, there will be some drama created.
Then let that happen so we have an enemy to fight. So we have an enemy to go against, to combat, like we did back in the 60s. Back in the early days, we had an enemy to fight.
There ain't no enemy. The only enemy right now no, I'm not gonna say enemy. The only thing that we can do right now is, like I said a few shows back. Stop spending.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That's the only power we got. Stop spending. Stop giving your money back to these people. Take your money away.
They gotta have them
what
Jordans.
They do then.
They gotta have them LeBron, some Jordans. They gotta
I understand you. But I'm just saying, if we had the balls, take your money away. I bet they'd stop talking shit then.
Listen, I'm gonna say this.
We did it during the bus boycott, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did it during the bus boycott. We took the money away, and it got their attention.
Yeah.
And they had to start coming up with more just and fair laws, states' rights or no states' rights, that basically made it fair for everyone. So it can be done. You're right, Central. It can be done. We did do that with the bus boycott. We did do it there.
We're not, but I'm gonna say this. Right now, we're 30 years unless from doing anything unless we get our families back. But I'm gonna say this. At this weak point we're at, if you was gonna boycott anything, either you, what would be the first thing you would boycott? What's the first thing you think we would have to get together in our community to even have a community?
This is gonna sound like a joke,
Yeah.
but it's not. I wish these black women would boycott these Korean weave shops.
Oh, what you think, Central? Boy, went over there and snorted some cocaine.
Oh boy.
What do you think, Central?
Right now.
He said we probably need.
You saying what's the
weave
first thing we should boycott?
Yeah.
I just believe it's just the corporations itself, retail. You understand? The only retail you should even try, if we're going to pull our money away, the only thing you should even put any money to is us. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, pull it away from all retail. I'm talking retail. Us and the shit that we want to buy, like Jordans, flat screen TVs, and all of that shit. Pull your money away from Target, Kmart, Sears, McDonald's.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
we have to be creative there.
I'm gonna tell you what
and come up with stuff. We'd have to be creative and come up with stuff that we ourselves would be willing to buy.
All we would have to do is go directly to China. They build everything for anybody anyway. All we got to do is, hey, this is the money we got.
I don't want to give my money to China. I'm giving it to them anyway when I go to Walmart, but I don't want to give my money to China.
Oh, why not?
Because Chinese don't give a fuck about us.
Now, that doesn't matter. They give a
well,
fuck about money.
And I think we should give more of a fuck about ourselves when it comes to China.
But in the reality of it all, they're the ones helping Africa out.
Yeah, you got a lot of them reinvesting in Africa.
Taking over with being
communists. Not really.
Now, I'm gonna say this. Now, you say we need to boycott with our spending power.
Yes.
You say we need to do what, Mr. 42nd? What's that answer you gave me, man?
I was just messing around, y'all.
Yeah, I know you was.
Seriously, we need. I'm just gonna go back to it. I think we just need to learn how to be a little bit more creative. We can do it. If we can be creative among ourselves, I think we can spend better among ourselves.
I would say this. I think the most obvious thing right now, and I'm just being honest with this, holding the black community back as a whole. I'm gonna say it, man. Lack of unity, lack of families, and the lack that our women. I'm just being honest with you. Does not cooperate with us. I think that's the biggest backdrop. Cause let's be honest, fellas.
Get to thank LBJ for that too.
Okay. Let's be honest, fellas. If let's say I'm gonna be a little superficial. Let's say all the dime pieces decided we're gonna cooperate with our men, and we're gonna do a 1,000,000 woman march, and we're gonna lose weight. We ain't gonna be fat. We ain't gonna be loud. We ain't gonna be belligerent, right? And we're gonna march as women for our men,
right?
Strictly for our. You know how many brothers that would get on, try to get their act together to get on that team, because a lot of men gonna know being a good stand-up man rewards them.
Yeah.
With a beautiful woman.
Right.
Or with sex or whatever.
I think that's what the movie Chirac is about, partly. I think Chirac is about that.
But the fact that what's rewarding these guys is laziness,
right?
Thug behavior,
that's right.
Irresponsibility. This is why I think our community is where it's at, because I think right now, in my opinion, the women is leading the community.
Yeah.
And
can't argue with that.
From what I'm seeing, and the ladies ain't gonna like this, y'all leading this motherfucker
into ruin.
In the ruins.
But what you gonna do about it then, nigga?
Beat your ass. That's what. Your ass need to be beat.
Yeah,
hold on, y'all. We're gonna disclaim we did not.
She gonna take you downtown.
We do not.
Yeah, we do not
promote
domestic violence. But hey,
I will say that's the problem right now is that our women is leading our community. They're leading our communities. That's the problem, and they're leading it.
Yeah, into
down the drain because it's not her job to lead anyway.
No, it's not.
And it's
not her job to raise a family on her own.
Right. And I'm not like I said, I'm not a female hater. A lot of females don't like when you say that. You need to just step up and be man. Well, look, if you raised me to be a boy, how am I gonna step up to be a man?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And from what I'm seeing is
right.
And where was your daddy at then?
But listen, y'all fellas, from what I'm seeing is this. The next generation of boys coming up, the millenniums.
Yeah,
it's a wrap.
That's why. What do you think?
It's
That's why I
wrap.
said that, yo. That's why I said that. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't got nothing coming up after us. There ain't no we ain't got no leaders now.
No, we don't.
And you think there's gonna be some coming out of them?
That's a good point.
I don't see nothing.
Even with this Black Lives Matter bullshit,
right. I don't see
nothing.
nothing.
Is there any leader gonna come up out of this?
I don't see nothing coming out that group.
Nah, they're just in it for the
We're
television.
gone, yo.
They're just in it for
That's
the
why
television.
we're gonna be in some place called Sunshine Estates or Brick Mansions, yo.
The way it's looking, somebody's gonna eventually.
Don't try to put hope on a bullshit
No.
fact,
I'm saying
yo.
somebody's eventually gonna not be afraid to say it. One of these days, somebody's gonna come along and not be afraid to say what we black people have been dreading. That's gonna get said, and it may be a Mexican or a Hispanic president,
right?
That's gonna come along and say it. That we need to do something about these niggas.
These American
that's exactly
niggas.
What's either we're going to be deported out.
American niggas.
Like I say, welcome to Sunshine Estates.
This is deep, y'all. This was a good show, fellas. I learned some. Mr. 42nd, I still get confused, man. You're still confusing me, man. This is the
TheKCentral Show. And I'm your host, Central Booking.
I'm K. Cram.
42nd special guest.
Yeah, you are special. And we out.
I'm on a special show.